It was 1939 and I was 17 and working as a shorthand typist in London. I'd seen the poster, "Lend a hand on the land," for the Women's Land Army, and the uniform looked lovely. I thought it might be safer working out of London, so I joined up and found myself on a farm. In the middle of nowhere.
Report to Cowshed at 6:30 in morning.
A time of day that had never previously existed for me. I climbed into bed, clinging to the hope that the war would be over in the morning. 6 o'clock arrived. The war was still on. A quick cup of tea, out to the cow stable, a long building lit by a hurricane lamp, where about 20 cows were tied. I found the smell revolting.
Mr. Bainbridge, the farmer, called me down. I said it's still bedtime. So I come down. No tea or anything. She was still in bed. He gave me a bucket. He had a bucket, and he took me down to this great, big, long shed. So we got to the first cow. He sits down like this. He has his cap on. He turned it round that way. Then he put his head on the side of the cow. Bucket between his knees. He got hold of the cows underneath and started doing this. I said, I thought that come out of bottles in the shops. Well then, Al's got a lot to learn. Come on, have a try. He watched me sit down. Go on, lass, get hold of her tits. Well, I was so embarrassed. I thought, what a rude man. Pop had taken me to see the pantomime in Newcastle, and everyone had laughed when Idle Jack and Jack and the Beanstalk had tried to milk the cow by pumping its tail up and down. Well, I thought, sitting there, it wasn't very funny at all. It were a jolly good idea. I hadn't really taken in what he'd showed us. Had he taken the cows back to things first? I just didn't like to use that rude word, not even to myself. Then again, he could have taken her front to things first. Would the cow know and object if I took her things in the wrong order? So I got down, bucket between my knees here, took one thing in each hand and squeezed. Well, I couldn't get this milk out. I got 2 drops in about an hour and a half. Not even enough to make a cup of tea.
Christmas! A farmer's son fetched a toboggan, and we scrambled on it and whizzed down the hill at speed. Oh, Merry Christmas, everyone! Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Ooh, carry a moonbeam home in a jar.
We were a long way from home.
So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
There's been another accident, and more just waiting to happen. Especially now we're having to double production. Sowing flax seeds for parachute webbing, digging ditches in thick mud, welding together bits of old machinery, ploughing fields at night just to get the work done. I'm watching more and more animals go off to slaughter so fields can be turned over to arable, use wheat and sugar beet. Where are you, Mr. Churchill, eh? You, in your nice, warm office, calling us your front line of freedom. You've not done a thing for the farmer in the last 20 years, letting in all these cheap imports. Now you're expecting us to make up the difference in 6 months. I'm cold. I'm wet. I'm exhausted. I just want to go home. I've had enough.
Mrs. Hitler kept pigs, and I was sent to clean them out. The pigs were being fed kale, long, thick stalks. The pigs ate the leaves, chewed the stalks, and then trampled them into all that sort of sloppy pig muck. I had to get the stalks out of the styes and onto the muck hill, but I couldn't balance them on my shovel, and if I pierced them with a fork they wouldn't come off. And it seemed the only way to deal with these stalks was to manhandle them. So I picked them up out of that sloppy pig muck and carried them one by one down the passage and flung them onto the muck hill. The mess I was in was unbelievable. The little pigs kept running between my legs. My nice new dungarees were absolutely stiff with a mixture of cow muck, pig muck and swill.
Just imagine, if you'd been working on the tractor all morning, the engine was so hot, you could cook a potato on it for your lunch.
And then threshing. The threshing machine is worked by an old steam engine. One girl throws sheaves into the machine and another cuts a string on the stuck. You never wasted string. And the threshed corn comes out with the other end. You never heard such a noise. Whirring, wheezing, rattling, whirring, wheezing, rattling, whirring, wheezing, rattling. Oh. Now, we're having to sow flax seeds for parachute webbing. Dig ditches in thick mud. Plough fields at night, just to get the work done. Oh, it was the coldest winter in history. And we were out in the fields, in our gumboots, clearing thistles, as they wanted 15 new acres ready for cultivation. We gave them 20.
I felt like the girl on the poster. Hair flowing in the breeze, the sun on my face. And I thought, I'm working for the war effort.
And then the Americans arrived. They were very generous.
Are you coming to the dance?
And we said, yes!
I was wearing my one and only dress, a pretty turquoise colour and very suitable for dancing. Flight Lieutenant Martin Main and I returned a little late, around 11 o'clock, and as the vicarage gates were locked at 10, this presented a small problem, as the gates were approximately 6 feet high. My tall Canadian escort lifted me up to stand me on his shoulders so I could climb onto the gate. It was quite a long jump down on the other side, but we're a fairly athletic lot of lasses. As I jumped, my treasured dress caught at the back and ripped all the way from hem to neck. I had to take off my dress, turn it round and hold it together at the front. Martin collapsed with laughter.
When the lights go on again, all over the world, and the boys are home again, all over the world, and rain or snow is all that may fall from the skies above. A kiss won't mean goodbye, but hello to love. When the lights go on again, all over the world, and the ships will sail again all over the world, Then we'll have time for things like wedding rings, and free hearts will sing when the lights go on again all over the world.
I walked miles planting and sowing. March winds blowing dust in my eyes. Primroses under the hedges at Easter.
We never knew what we'd be doing. Carting, carving, clearing fields. Finding somewhere to have a wee.
The farmhouse was too far away, so there was always the question of where we could go to spend a penny. The farmhands just jumped over the hedge. We held a discussion on how we would deal with this. I lost the toss and was nominated to approach the farmer. We need a proper lavatory. He went purple with rage. I thought he was going to blow a gasket. Leading the farmhands round the back of the lorry, he gave them each a spade and told them to dig a hole at the end of the field. I was getting to the end of my row of potatoes when the farmer came over.
We've finished the toilet. Go and see if you like it.
I walked towards it, sensing, without looking back, that they were all waiting for my approval. Attached to the front, tied on securely with string, was a large piece of cardboard, and in red paint, "Ladies only." Lifting the tarpaulin flap, I went in. A gaping black hole with wooden handrails on either side, presumably to hold on to with legs astride. What would happen when your dungarees were round your ankles and you lost balance? I beckoned the girls to come over. Oh dear. But we did get our love.
But no sooner did we have a toilet than the end of the war was in sight. One day the army started coming through. Every road was filled. The invasion had started.
Then, as the Allies started coming through for the last push, an American fighter pilot came down in a field nearby. One of our girls ran out to help, but the plane caught fire and exploded, killing them both.
Back when life was black and white, and not 1,000 shades of grey, a call went out for girls like us to join the WLA. To be alive at such a time meant living was intensified. New tasks, new hardships, joy and pain distilled into a sense of pride. We looked within ourselves and found a person we had never known, with qualities of inner strength and independence newly grown. From urban life to rural fields, from office, factory and shop, replacing men who left to fight and trust to us each season's crop. Remember us. We worked long days till hands were rough and backs were sore, giving our all and finding strength each day to give a little more. But rising in the morning mist and toiling in the summer haze, this time was ours, a job well done. We will remember all our days.
Thousands of girls had joined the Women's Land Army to work on the farms, and so many had sacrificed so much for the war effort. And whilst everyone was celebrating victory in Europe, we quietly took stock of what we'd done to keep Hitler from our shores. Total war is a war of endurance, and to ensure winning it, we must make use of all our resources, especially the land. Some of our work has been unspectacular and may have seemed to you very dull. And all of the work was hard and exhausting, and the pay was poor. But without the food we helped to produce, famine would have achieved what no bomb would ever have brought about. And we are proud of what we've done to keep a nation free, proud that we've grown food and not made bullets. On my last day, I put my hand into a sack and took out a grain of wheat, and I thought, I grew that, and I'll do it all again.
Yes, we do it all again.
There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see. There'll be love and laughter and peace ever after tomorrow, when the world is free. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valley will bloom again, and Jimmy will go to sleep in his own little room again. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see.